Hi guys, it's been a really long while now since I last made my hotel guide video, and I kinda just want to share all my new findings or all the things I found ever since then. So as you know, my hotel is level 90 and she's finished 10 for a really long while now. And just because how hotel scales off her HP, I do think level 90 her is pretty damn worth it. Despite crit rate and crit damage ratio 69.2 to 166.9. Ever since my last guide video on hotel, my crit damage has actually gone down quite a remarkable bit just because using a different weapon now. If you do want to focus on Hutel's charge attacks a bit more though, I do find 64 to 72 crit rate is more than enough. However though, if you are someone that want to utilize Hutel's elemental burst a bit more, I recommend about 80% crit rate. Alrighty, so now finally getting to the weapons section. I think this might be the part I changed the most ever since my last guide video on Hutel. And I think I used to say at one point in time, I used to say Dragon's Bane actually kind of bad for Hutel. I only recently just acquired this weapon, and oh my gosh, I think it might just be single-handedly be the most underrated weapon for Hotel, period. It's pretty insane on her. But yeah, obviously though, the best weapon for Hotel is a Staff of Hammer. And now going down from that though, I'll put Dragon's Bane as a solo number 2 alongside the Primordial Jade Spear. At higher refinements though, I do think the Dragon's Bane can actually outbeat the Primordial Jade Spear. However though, that is just pure speculations because I don't actually have the actual weapon myself, and I've just been doing some research and reading into it, and that's the final conclusion I kind of decided on. And the number 3 best weapon though I want to put on Hotel is probably the Deathmatch. It gives 44% crit rate, which is absolutely insane. If you have really good luck with crit damage artifacts though, the Deathmatch is potentially even better than the Dragon's Bane depending on your personal situation. Because I used to be in the case where I used to get a bunch of crit damage artifacts and no crit rates, so Deathmatch against the Dragon's Bane is a pretty close call. But in general, if you have good luck and balanced artifacts though, but just reading off some articles inside of Reddit and stuff like that, Dragon's Bane does out DPS Deathmatch. However though, if you have good luck with crit damage artifacts though, Deathmatch might just be a thing that might just overcome everything else. So Deathmatch is also really good as well, but though the downside is it does require money. And number 4 weapon, I put the Skyward Spine, followed by the White Castle. Anything else like the Phoenix Lance, I do not recommend. This thing, White Castle right here, it's not the best weapon. Like this 5-star over here, the Skyward Spine can out DPS it, but Dragon's Bane obviously over DPS that. But White Castle though, honestly does an insane amount of damage. I made a video about White Castle a few days ago, so I highly recommend checking that one out because it's so underrated and people just sleep on it. It gives 23.4 crit rate. And at refinement number 5, the passive is to increase the normal attacks by 48%. If you are using a C0 Hotel and do experience yourself having stamina issues, this weapon is actually potentially really good for that, for making some of the damage back using just normal attacks alone. Now getting into the artifacts though, the full Witch of Flames is going to be the absolute best in slot for Hotel. Following in second though, it will be the Shimagawa set. It's only about a few percentage of difference, so if you do find a Shimagawa set a lot easier to farm, I do highly recommend farming that instead of losing your sanity over what the hell this thing is. But yeah, if you don't have any of the Witch of Flames set or the 4-piece Shimagawa, another good option will be the 2-piece Witch of Flames set plus 2-piece Wanderers, or just the 2-piece Witch of Flames plus a 2-piece Millith for the 20% extra HP, or just a 2-piece Witch of Flames set by itself honestly, plus whatever you have free. One thing I do want to say about this artifact set though is that the 4-piece Witch of Flames set compared to 2 Witch of Flames set plus like Wanderers or Millith or something like that is so huge. And just because how much better the 4-piece Witch of Flame is compared to 2-piece Witch of Flame alone, I actually recommend decreasing your actual crit damage actually put on the full piece Witch of Flames. I did some testing about a week ago now, and I think I was using a 140 crit damage 4-piece Witch of Flames, and I think that actually out DPS my 180 crit damage 2-piece Witch of Flames. So yeah, I actually recommend you actually decreasing the crit damage to actually put on a 4-piece Witch of Flames. For the main stats though, for the circuit crit damage, now onto the goblet itself, I always recommend power damage. I see people ask me, is it okay if I go for attack percent? If it's okay if I go for attack percent on this one, just to make sure I have a complete set? No. Break your set if you have to, and always use a power damage one. Even if it's horrible, maybe it's flat attack, maybe it's flat defense, maybe it's like attack percent or something like that. Always use a horrible power damage compared to a really good HP or attack percent one. Now getting into the stance for Hotel, you actually have 2 choices. You can either go attack percent or HP percent. Both of them actually work pretty well together, like this isn't too much differences. So actually choose your stance, either HP percent or attack percent depending on your substats alone. Though I do personally notice HP percent actually scaling off a bit better on Hotel, the difference isn't that major, especially when you level Hotel to level 90 and max out her weapon as well. Onto the flower and also further, it's a good time to actually talk about the substats you actually should be looking for on Hotel. One of the biggest misconceptions about Hu Tao is that she actually wants a crap ton of HP. I don't actually think Hu Tao actually needs that much HP. About 35k or 34k is about the time you should stop at, especially with Hu Tao having a base HP of 15,000. Hu Tao doesn't really need exactly that much HP on her substats, especially if using a main stat HP on her stance. Having some HP on your artifacts is cause a bonus, but the main thing you want to look out for in these kind of artifacts though is the cost of crit rate and the crit damages. I've seen a lot of people that over prioritize the HP amount for her, going as far as going to building her with like 50k HP or something like that, or like 40k HP. That is just way too much of that, and if you're actually just sacrificing crit damage or crit rate for HP, that is just not worth it in my personal opinion. Like, this is a pretty good example of having some HP that's a pretty good bonus. However though, I have seen some people actually done this, and imagine this, the crit damage here was like 5% or something like that, and the HP was like 20%. Some people will actually choose the 7% crit damage one over the 20% crit damage one because the additional HP is there. Crit damage on Hu Tao is a lot more valuable than HP, especially if you're using a main stat for the sands. Always prioritize crit damage over HP, though it's actually good to have some bit of it. A reminder why Hu Tao's crit damage is so much more important than any other character is because when you press the E, her attack goes way up to like 3000, something like that. So when you're 3000 attack and you multiply that by crit damage, that is a lot of damage. So I just see a lot of people overestimating the amount of HP that you need. About 33k or about 28k, about something like that range. Anything about 28k to about 34k, that's like more than enough Hu Tao. Around that range is pretty good, but anything over that is too much. Now onto the talents though, the two main ones I want to prioritize is Guide to Afterlife and just her normal attacks. I usually prioritize this as number 1, with her normal attacks being number 2. I actually recommend keeping Hu Tao's burst at level 6 first, then slowly make your way upwards to see if you actually need additional healing. On level 9 talents though, on her burst, I sometimes regret myself leveling this thing up, and I kind of wish I always kept it a bit lower because I sometimes find myself overhealing a bit. So yeah, especially for a burst though, I'll just take it a bit slowly, but the first two though, way worth it. Another really interesting thing I want to mention inside this video though is that Hu Tao is actually a really good team buffer as well. After using her elemental skill and leaving the field or has fallen, she actually increased the crit rate of the whole team by 12% for 8 seconds. Which is also really nice as well, and something I never noticed about her. So yeah, she's also a team buffer. So yeah, that kind of just covers everything I want to talk about inside this video. Her talents, artifacts, weapons. Yeah, everything's pretty neat. Thank you everybody, and see ya. Bye.